Okay, everybody, here we go. We are live, and that makes me happy. All right, look, let's talk post-market wrap-up on this Friday, June 9th, 2023. We got some really interesting things to cover here, but before we get there, let's just set the stage. It seems, honestly, that this thing is just getting crazier and crazier. Again, the gap between the economy and this market just keeps getting wider and wider and wider and wider and wider. I mean, it seems unstoppable. And again, the driver is action here in the debt market. It's being bought up like there's no tomorrow. Because without doing this, if central banks weren't in here buying all the debt, Federal Reserve being number one, it would just end. It would just all end. Do you realize? Excuse me, man, itchy nose. Do you realize that for nearly 140 years here in the United States, we had no central bank? We had no central bank for 140 years. And then all of a sudden, 1913, here comes the Federal Reserve, and debt has exploded. And it just continues to balloon around the world as central banks continue their stranglehold on the people of the world. This is an entity collectively. These central banks, they got to go. They really do have to go. I don't know another way to put it. Anyway, so with that, the gap continues to widen, and it just doesn't seem like there's an end to this at this time, and it's probably just going to continue to go on, especially during this re-election cycle campaign of President Imbecile. Excuse me, I mean the very nice man Joe Bidenstein. Yeah, this is what they do. They have a puppet here who's willing to do anything that it takes: balloon the debt, explode the debt, crush the citizenry of this nation here, and then that's all well and good to fulfill the corporate agenda, the agenda of the Federal Reserve. Absolutely, why would they need somebody else? It's an incredible thing, but that's the truth. Mummy man, exactly. Honestly, it's a thing. He looks really like a cross between the Boris Karloff mummy and Frankenstein, and he's worse off. He's more brain dead than a mummy or a Frankenstein. I mean, he's just a puppet. But there's a whole other thing here. Anyway, so understanding the situation here, again, I'm going to go back to a very interesting, I guess you could say, a warning, without any doubt, from a French multinational bank, BNP Parabas. They're talking about here, just let me read this to you here. We have ballooning global debt. Okay, it's just not stopping. Here in the United States, they raised the debt ceiling. Oh, they saved the world. Our illustrious president, he signed it into law. We sidestepped another crisis. No, we are in a full-blown crisis here. But here, this is BNP Paribas here, this French multinational bank, warning of a market liquidity crisis. Look, forget about for the market. This whole world is in a liquidity crisis. Okay, without the relentless ballooning of the debt, it just ends. Everything ends. The financial system, the economy, the markets, all. But you know this already. For years, you and I, all of you, have been with me for a long time. Some of you, we've talked about this liquidity crisis issue. We're in one. It's full blown. And again, if the mechanism were to halt or stop, for example, a debt default, this whole thing ends. It just ends. Billions of dollars to fund this, and billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions to fund wars and everything else. It's just a part of the mechanism that you all know about. So not only do we hear from BNP Paribas, again, this French multinational bank, warning of a liquidity crisis. And what does it mean? When liquidity dries up, and it's drying up now, again, the system must operate. I want you to consider this. You know what I'm going to tell you if you've been with me, in a perpetual deficit. It's in it, the financial system, the economy, the markets, everything operates in a perpetual deficit. We can never be whole because the debt must expand exponentially. It can't remain static. It has to balloon and balloon and then balloon on top of that. So, right, we're in a full-blown crisis, but it won't stop. It won't stop until it does. And there is the effort going on right now to keep rates suppressed is frankly unbelievable. And what is it doing? Again, it's opening up this doorway for cash to flow. The mother of mothers of them all, stock market bubbles. There's nothing like it in the history of the world. It's beyond belief. It really, really is. So on top of this BNP Paribas thing, we got the International Mafia Fund, the IMF, warning. Okay, are you ready for this one? That inflationary pressures everywhere are continuing to rise, but there's no accountability. Yet again, none and zero. I don't know about you, but that bothers me. Now, the IMF is saying that central banks, including the Fed, should not pause, and they should raise rates. Next week we're going to hear from the Federal Reserve here. In my opinion, okay, they are going to pause, but the IMF is warning that they should not pause because inflationary pressures continue to rise. Oh, I am so shocked. Now, this is kind of interesting as well. We heard just this week that big retail, what is big retail doing? They understand the consumer is hurting. The consumer is under pressure. Okay, so they're stocking their shelves with discount items. Thank you, Mitch. So the CEO of Costco kind of chimed in on this, saying that this is clearly a recession unfolding as people, again, instead of buying more expensive products, are now buying cheaper things. And, look, they want to convince you that there's no recession, which we already are in one. Again, forget about the market. The market, is just going to go up and up and up and up as long as they keep rates suppressed. That's exactly what it seems like to me. Okay. Until it doesn't, until the meltdown in the debt market occurs. And I'm telling you, there's enormous effort. We've never seen anything like this ever. And that is just making cash flow into risk assets. And we're all going to pay a price for that again, eventually, but looks like not for a while, I guess. But anyway, so with that said, clearly the consumer is hurting, with debt ballooning, their personal debt, household debt, consumer debt, defaults skyrocketing. It's not going to stop, but everyone's great and we're all doing fantastic. Ask the imbecile sitting behind the Resolute desk right now. Now, on the back of that, it gets even better. So we got JP Morgan. I mean, this is a warning too, but I mean, nothing major. JP Morgan is warning of a potential 20% fall in the stock market if the bond market is right. Now, you've heard me tell you the bond market is always right. Even if it's rigged, the bond market is sending us a signal here. Rates cannot remain suppressed like this for an indefinite period of time and there not be a price to pay. Again, suppressed rates causes what? Not only cash to move into risk assets and inflates real estate bubbles, malinvestment, meaning cash going into things it shouldn't be going into and coming out of places it shouldn't be going into. So, I mean, duh. I mean, seriously, duh. Going back to the market real quick. So we had stocks finished higher today. The 10-year yield remained somewhat stable. The relative strength of the dollar or the Dixie did put on a gain today. Crude oil fell under pressure. Cryptocurrencies under pressure for the most part. I think the standout here was XRP, which did put on a nice gain. Thanks again, Mitch. And gold and silver mixed, relatively flat. We didn't see too much going on with regard to that. Anyway, so that's where we stand here, people. And I want to hear from you. Honestly, look, once in a while, we do get little pieces of truth here. And this is a piece of truth, in my opinion, from BNP Paribas, this French multinational bank warning of a coming liquidity crisis. I mean, we're in a liquidity crisis right now. Understanding that the system must operate in a vacuum constantly. and we can never be whole. And again, ponder the fact that we here in the United States, we lived without a central bank for nearly 140 years. The Fed, gets their charter in 1913, and all of a sudden debt just skyrockets. The dollar loses 98% of its value. Where's the accountability there? Honestly, we have none. That's right. Unbelievable. What do you think about this from the IMF? We just covered here that they're saying that central banks, the Fed, should not pause because inflationary pressures continue to rise. It's not going to stop no matter what they do. If the Fed, let's just throw this out to have a little fun here. Let's say the Fed increases the federal funds rate come next week, another 25 or 50 basis points. Do you really think that's going to do anything about inflation? People over at the IMF, are you listening? Are you paying any attention? Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. It's going pretty well. I hope it's going well for you too. But again, it doesn't matter. We all know this. Thank you, Joe. It's raising rates is nonsense. It's garbage. We're taking it straight up the gabagool. Alan Greenspan, who's here with us right now. Thank you. It's crazy. Anyway, Magic Mika, Lava Girl. God, you guys and girls are awesome. Where's Lord Humongous? Is he here today? Lord Humongous, where are you? Where are you? He's always here. He's not here today, I guess. Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald. The whole entire yield curve is a freak show. Forget about just the two year. I mean, we've never seen a more inverted yield curve ever before. And this should really tell us all that this is a big problem. Oink Man, where is Oink Man? Anyway, people, that's it. What else can I tell you? This thing here has just gone completely insane. And I think more than ever, we're going to need each other moving forward. It's really the truth, Anyway, that is the lovely freaking story. And this morning here, just going real talking about super banks. So Goldman Sachs warning on more inflation, just like the IMF, okay, and about the economy continuing to slow down. Make it up. Food inflation outpacing everything else. They're going to starve us is what they're trying to do. Shortages they're warning about. Like we don't know that all this is going to happen. Really? They think we're that stupid? I tell you, man, I really, once in a while, I just can't handle it. Yeah, the world has gone insane. Anyway, you guys want to talk about anything before we close this video? No, we're not going to eat bugs. I don't want to eat bugs, fried, baked, or anything like that. But they want us to. Of course they do. They want us to get slapped across the face repeatedly. Thanks again, Joe. And just deal with it. And people seem to be doing that. It's a terrible thing. But I mean, it's a weird kind of a situation that we're in here. Jerome Powell, no drag racing this weekend. No, unfortunately, out here where I live, they're only running Friday night street drags, and neither of my cars are street cars. So unfortunately, no drag racing for me. Maybe I'll go watch later. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. There's a neat car show by my house about 20 minutes away. A couple hundred people, like maybe 300-400. It's a cool thing. Anyway. All right, people, that's the story. Where is Coco? Coco's getting his walk. He always gets a walk around this time. I'll get him back on. I promise. I really will. Anyway, so it's Friday, and you know what that means, right? You know what that means? You know what we're going to do? We're gonna bring it in. We're going to bring it in because nobody's looking. All right, and if they are, make them bring it in too, okay? Love each other. Care about each other. Be charitable, people. Honestly, we need each other. And that's fact. I will be back on Sunday for my markets. A look ahead. Show us Coco's hammer. You guys are crazy, man. You're nuts. Anyway, yeah, we'll reconvene Sunday for my markets. Look ahead. It'll be lovely. Big week next week with the Fed. So and we'll see how this whole thing plays out, people. All right, look, have a great weekend. Thank you for your support, all of you, for those thumbs up. So important. Get this video out there. I want to hear from you. Please comment on the things that we speak about. It's super important. All right. And I'll see you Sunday. Okay. Have a great weekend. Please be safe, everyone. I want everyone here again next week. All right. I don't want any of you to just kind of disappear, if you get my drift. All right. I'll see you.